When people watch this show, it's grounded in reality, but it's slightly stylized. There's a 7.5-foot girl who glows, there's upirs, there's werewolves. This is what goes on in this world. So the world itself has to look unique and special. We want this to feel like its own universe.
Hemlock Grove, the town, is like any typical town in the U.S., except we did want to see the dark side, the underbelly, the part that no one wants to look at.
We want things to have a strange, eerie, isolated quality. Very textured, very rich, very lush, but even when we see the rust beneath the surface, it still looks beautiful.
The town on one side has an abandoned steel mill that the Godfrey family owned and basically decimated the town when it shut down 20 years ago.
When we first scouted and we were looking for a location, we were brought here. And looking at this place, it's almost like an Escher drawing with the staircases that are leading to nowhere. And I mean, you walk in here, and it just says so much. You can hear the sort of the machine still working. You look at all the pipes hanging. It's very, very Giger-esque. Ridley Scott would love this place. Our show is about the decay of the human condition. This sort of building really is a metaphor for what the story is all about.
I grew up in steel country south of Pittsburgh, the Monongahela Valley. Once the financial rug was pulled out from under these mills, now they're standing there and, I mean, they're all being eaten again by the landscape, which is something that is strikingly beautiful.
Drew Broughton, who's our genius production designer, had a vision, and he showed us these photographs. So this Gregory Crutzen book called Twilight has been the inspiration, and Drew has literally brought that book to life.
You have this sense of this is beautiful, and yet I'm filled with dread.
And they're kind of extraordinary in their staged, wide format photographs of sort of lonely and sad and mysterious American townscapes. And so they're very, very potent, very elegant, very beautiful, and they often ask a wide question of what's happening here. It's kind of poetic American decline. In this case, the Godfreys, who've morphed from steel barons into biotech barons, but all the while continuing to essentially, in some form, prey upon the underclass. The Romanchek's world is the visual counterpoint to the Godfrey world, and you can draw a straight line between the two things. At the top of the hill, you have the people who run everything, and you have the people at the very, very bottom who don't.
You know, we found this ravine in this creek, and it was undrivable. You couldn't physically get a trailer there. And you found a trailer, took it apart, and then rebuilt that in the ravine. And you walk down there, and you would swear that someone's been living there for the last 30 years.
To me, it reminds me sort of The Prince and the Pauper. They can always look up and see the castle.
We are in the church, which is on the grounds of Hemlock Acres. The wish list is a very classic American Gothic church, and actually it's something that's very difficult to find. This was basically a closed church, and we wanted to give it something very, very dramatic, much darker, much edgier feel. This actually is a picture of how it was when we started. We were able to transform it quite dramatically into what it is now, which is a much more scary, cool place.
Trying to create a very chiaroscuro mood, which is the shaft of lights and darkness. So it's always this hidden corner that something could happen, and we need a massive amount of lighting, trying to have a very stylish look.
It's all about what you put in front of the camera. We're not making a television show. We're bringing the big screen to the small screen.
I want viewers to watch it and go, I wish I could visit that place.